What's up, influencers? Welcome to another episode of the VI Show. And today we're talking about, is it worth it to start doing YouTube Shorts? Very, very popular, and we've got a special guest who's going to have a conversation about it, not only to tell us his opinion, but his tips for you guys if you decide to start it. D. Nimmin. So D is a YouTube expert, knows all things YouTube and social media. He's also specializing on mobile phone content creation. So definitely check out his channel, D. Nimmin. I know he might look familiar because he's from the show you used to always watch every Saturday with his brother, Nick Nimmin. So we're going to get right into it. Welcome to Video Influencers. We're helping build your influence, income, impact with online videos. Sean and I started this channel to help you crush it on YouTube, and we interview other people who are just killing it on this platform. We're also the authors of YouTube Secrets. Little secret, we just updated this, so get the audio book. Go to Audible and get the audio book, because when it gets uploaded, you can refresh it and you'll get the new edition. So definitely pick that up if you're looking to get more subscribers, get more views on your YouTube channel. All right, man. D, thank you so much for being here.
Benji, thanks for having me. I'm glad to be back.
Yeah. And you know, it's been a long time. We normally see each other 2 or 3 times a year, but obviously things are, you know, kind of crazy right now. But I'm excited because another crazy thing that happened in the last 18 months is YouTube Shorts. So my first question for you, D, is this: overrated or underrated, and why?
Ooh, that's a great question. I believe YouTube Shorts are massively underrated. Look, when YouTube Shorts first hit, it started in India. Everybody knows this. India was the beta testing country for YouTube Shorts because they banned TikTok. So YouTube took that opportunity, released Shorts there first, did a lot of beta testing, and then they started rolling it out to the rest of the world. Now they're rolling out the actual camera and the full features to the entire world right now. The US has had it now for a couple of months, I believe. And it's massively underrated because there's so much opportunity to reach a new audience with YouTube Shorts who normally doesn't know that you exist. People who've never heard of you, you can end up in the short shelf in front of complete strangers, and you can pull them into your channel and make them part of your community. So it's still massively underrated.
Yeah, totally. And it's crazy how many views that YouTube Shorts is getting right now, being so new. So TikTok, literally billions and billions of views. I can't even imagine how many views a day. And YouTube Shorts is competing with them toe to toe. Even though it's so new, I'm sure a lot of people don't even know what it is when they stumble on it. But basically, if you're new to what YouTube Shorts is, think TikTok. These are vertical videos that are 60 seconds or less, and they fill up the whole screen. So it's a whole new way to consume content. It's very much algorithm based. So there's not a lot of discovery happening with YouTube Shorts, because just like TikTok, they just you click on it once and they just throw YouTube Shorts. But the reason it's significant to me is because there's people literally getting billions upon billions of views. I recently interviewed Lisa Nguyen. So we'll switch to my page here. Lisa Nguyen started this last November. As you can see, almost 2 million subscribers. Look at what she just did, D. She just hit 1 billion video views in less than 12 months. Now, I know a lot of people are saying, well, hey, shorts views aren't like long form content views. What I can tell you is this: that is untrue, because number one, people are going to look at 1 billion views and be like, wow, she got 1 billion views. Secondly, even though you're not keeping people's attention for as long, you are getting people's attention. And brands are paying attention to this. Short form content creators are getting a lot of opportunities. And I do believe that it's just going to continue growing and growing. And Lisa, for example, is going to go from 1 billion to 2 billion to 5 billion to 10 billion. So yeah, you have to look at it from a volume standpoint. D, my next question for you is, what's kind of new and what are the updates since YouTube Shorts launched back in January, February as beta? I know it was actually before that, but it formally launched just a few months ago. Anything new that you've seen? Because I know that you've been paying attention to the significance of YouTube Shorts.
Oh yeah, there's been a lot of updates. You talked about the views coming in with YouTube Shorts. When YouTube introduced Shorts, I believe it was in March, the last time they announced this, they were getting 6.5 billion daily views. That was back in March of this year.
Wow.
They just announced they are now getting 15 billion with a B daily views.
Yeah.
15 billion daily views with YouTube Shorts. That is insane. So that's new information that tells you how popular YouTube Shorts has become. Now, look, I get it. A lot of people think YouTube Shorts is silly, like TikTok is silly. It's just a bunch of kids dancing, so on and so forth. And yeah, there is some of that, right? I'm not going to sugarcoat this and say that that doesn't exist. There is some silliness on both apps or any of the short form content apps. But the ability for you to make a deeper connection with an audience that doesn't know you exist, it's truly a gold rush. And it is becoming a little bit more difficult, but YouTube did dangle some carrots in front of us to keep us going. They announced the YouTube, I believe it's the Shorts Creator Fund. They've got $100 million that they're going to start investing later this year to YouTube Shorts creators. And you don't have to be part of the YouTube Partner Program in order to have access to it. They're going to reach out to people who they believe are making an impact with YouTube Shorts and disperse that $100 million with them. Now, there's some other crazy things with YouTube Shorts that they've recently talked about over the past couple of months that are some good things, some bad things. One thing that they said that's kind of weird is YouTube is now saying that they are showing YouTube Shorts to your subscribers only if they believe your subscribers are interested in YouTube Shorts.
That's cool. Yeah, because that was one of the challenges that people had is, you know, I don't want to upload YouTube Shorts onto my main channel because I don't want to bother people. And to be frank, when I started using YouTube Shorts on my food channel, I did lose some subscribers. It wasn't anything significant, but it was enough for me to pay attention. And I believe it's for this reason, because they didn't sign up for this format. One thing that I remember is YouTube employees, people, you know, that work at corporate have come into Clubhouse even. By the way, shout out to Clubhouse. I know the audio wasn't working. We're going to be doing Q&A at the end of this, so stay tuned. But the reason this is significant is YouTube said, we don't want to roll out a new function, this new format, if it's going to hurt creators. So initially, they were still figuring it out, but this is significant what Dee is saying because it means you can upload YouTube Shorts potentially to your main channel. It's not going to have that same effect that it did even to someone like myself.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is the algorithm doing what the algorithm is doing. That's what it's made to do. It's made to predict what the viewer wants to watch next. So now YouTube is predicting if your subscribers are interested in the shorts that you're uploading. Now, one thing you can think about this is, one, it's great that not everybody's going to be notified about this because, or when you upload a short, because not everybody's interested in shorts. But what if you do have a short that you want everybody to see? What if it's important? What if you're like, hey, I want people to see this? So I also think it's important to let people know that you're actually making shorts.
Right.
Share your shorts out on other platforms. Let people know on Twitter, let people know on Facebook that you do have a short. If you're just uploading shorts hoping that YouTube is going to put it in front of people, I think that you're missing an opportunity here. So train your audience to know that you're actually uploading shorts if you want to make sure more people actually see your shorts.
Yeah, and one more thing that's really significant about shorts right now is if you do what Dee just suggested, get people to watch one of your shorts, and you have a pretty good library, YouTube is going to heavily suggest your shorts to your viewers. In fact, I was talking about Lisa. She's a food content creator. I follow Dee, and sometimes on the short shelf, usually there's like 3 different options. She'll cover 2 of the 3 options. And I think that's partly because she's probably one of the only creators I watch. But have you ever seen, ever in your suggested feed, even with a channel that you love, that they have multiple back-to-back suggested? Like, that's very rare because they usually try to show you a mixture, kind of like Netflix. You know, they're trying to give you all different options. Right now, YouTube Shorts is a huge opportunity, this huge window of time where you can capitalize on it like never before because they know how consuming it can be and how addicted people become on this short form content.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about some best practices in terms of what you can do to get people to watch more of your shorts. If you've noticed, when they first rolled out YouTube Shorts, they were showing all sorts of random shorts to people. And I was like, well, I'm not interested in any of this stuff. Why are they showing me this stuff? Well, this was new. And YouTube said, hey, this is a new feature. We're rolling it out. We're figuring this out as we go. But what I find now is there's a combination of very popular shorts, which I like to think of them as more of like viral video shorts. If you look at the view count, they have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of views on some of those. But YouTube has also become very smart in terms of what I like to consume for my shorts. And they're starting to show me the short channels that I actually watch. And the interesting thing is, some of these channels I'll subscribe to, and I never watch their long form content because I think their shorts are amazing. And YouTube is smart enough to not show me their long form content and to continue showing me the short form content that they're creating. So their algorithm is doing what it's supposed to do, and I think it's working really well, and it's only going to get better. And I think this is another opportunity to stop thinking of shorts as something where, oh, I'm just going to upload a short piece of content and cross my fingers and hope that something works. Start being intentional with your shorts and start treating it as a standalone piece of content, right? There is some strategy where you can create a short that will lead to a long form video. That strategy works, but also think of shorts as something as standalone, because you're going to be reaching a whole new audience. And if you are watching YouTube shorts, you're probably finding creators you didn't know exist because they're ending up on your short shelf, on the short shelf. So think of making standalone pieces of content, and think about making videos that are really interesting, really engaging, that people could watch in a loop, right? When they first rolled out shorts, when one short would end, it would just go to the next short.
Yeah.
Well, YouTube obviously is copying TikTok on this. And I guess they noticed that TikTok will loop the videos. And what I'm finding is the shorts that tend to be doing the best right now are ones that are shorter. In most cases, not all cases, there are exceptions, but some of them are shorter and they're loopable. So when it gets to the end, now it just replays and starts over. So those seem to be doing really well right now. So keep in mind that you don't have to maximize, you don't have to make the full 60 seconds. You can look at your analytics, and if people are watching the full 60 seconds, that's great, keep running with that. But if you find that only 30% or 40% or 50% of the people are actually completing your short, make your shorts shorter until you can get a very high number of people actually completing the short. That's going to increase the chances that you continually get rotated in and out of the short shelf.
Word. And hey, before we get into the next question is whether you should put it on your main channel or a secondary channel, I actually want to show an example of somebody putting on their main channel mixed in with their long form content. But hey, if you're getting value out of this, hit that like button, subscribe for more interviews just like this. We talk to all the people that are crushing it on this platform to help you guys get more views and subscribers. So subscribe to Video Influencers. An example I want to show you, D, is the future. His name is Chris Do. And one thing,
awesome.
yeah, I love Chris's channel. He's big on Clubhouse, obviously. But one thing that's pretty cool is he's using shorts, right? In fact, I mean, look at a lot of his recent uploads. They're all short pieces of content. So if you're not familiar with Chris Do, he's helping people in the graphic design industry, creatives, but he's been uploading to YouTube for a long time. And when you go to his most popular videos, guess what? It's a YouTube short. 24 million views. Second one is 15 million views. These are his top videos now. So his third biggest is 3.6 million. It's a regular long form content. Why this is significant is because Chris is proving you can upload shorts in tandem with your long form content, and it's not necessarily going to hurt your other videos. It's actually going to help grow, and this is what YouTube has been saying since the beginning, and I believe them. I know that there's sometimes a disconnect from the people running YouTube and the people that are actually uploading to YouTube, but they always said we don't want to hurt creators, so we suggest you upload to your main channel. That was what I've done, but I'm not regularly uploading, so it's really hard to test. My question to you, D, is this: what's your suggestion to people? Should they be uploading on their main channel or their a secondary channel just dedicated to shorts like Lisa Wynn? Why and why not?
Well, when this first rolled out, we saw large creators like Mr. Beast create a second channel for YouTube Shorts. And I asked him in Clubhouse on stage. He was speaking in Clubhouse, and I said, hey, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? And he said, I'm just testing stuff out. Right? We didn't know when YouTube Shorts first rolled out. We didn't know what it was going to become. what the plans were for this. It was just something that they were testing in India at the time, so he didn't want to take the risk, and he didn't want to take the risk of doing anything bad to his main channel with millions and millions of subscribers. So he just created a second channel. And that's fine. And now that we know more about YouTube Shorts, I think it's going to be a choice that you're going to have to make. Knowing that monetization is coming to Shorts, that means ads are going to be played on top of Shorts. Yeah. And there are plenty of channels that are blowing up and building huge channels only on YouTube Shorts. So that's something you could do. That's a content strategy that could work for you. At the same time, if the content that you're making in your Shorts is like the content that you're making in your long form content, I also don't see any reason why you couldn't put that on your main channel, especially now that YouTube has said that they are not going to notify subscribers that are not interested in your Shorts. And one thing to keep in mind with YouTube Shorts is it's not all about the actual short shelf. Right? That's where the bulk of the traffic is, but now we're seeing situations where short videos are ending up on the homepage. You're getting browse traffic, you're getting suggested traffic. Short videos are showing up when people search. So they're actually surfacing shorts all over the platform now, in addition to putting those shorts in the short shelf.
Oh yeah, whenever a platform releases a new function, they just want to throw it in your face, right? They really want to force the consumption of it because they need the data. They need to get people's eyeballs on this so they can test different things and adjust, the settings. But I agree. Right now, and this is why I think YouTube Shorts is here to stay. It's not just the fact that YouTube is sold on it and they create this whole infrastructure for YouTube short form content, but it's the fact that people are consuming it. Like you mentioned, right? It's one thing to put it in front of people and get them to click once. It's another to get the massive amounts of views. And we're not just seeing this from data from YouTube. We're seeing it with channels like Chris Do, Lisa Wynn, even myself. Like, it's pretty crazy. A lot of my shorts would get more views than my average long form content, which is obvious because it's easy to consume like a 60-second video. And that actually leads me to the next section of this interview is why YouTube Shorts is significant for the beginner. I'm sure we could talk for an hour, but I want to show you guys Mr. Beast real quick because Dee did bring him up. Mr. Beast, obviously, huge creator on YouTube. If you go to his channels, you'll see he's got a Mr. Beast Shorts. 8.4 million subscribers, and he's smart because he understands, and who knows, I mean, if YouTube like signed him up, like, hey, like upload some shorts, but he's getting massive amounts of views, very clean channel. And this is the other thing I want to mention, Dee. We're talking about how the algorithm is smart enough to know if you like shorts or not. It's suggesting multiple of your shorts to people. Also, I believe, and I don't know, I've never heard this from YouTube, but I believe the YouTube algorithm is so powerful and it's so smart that even if you started a second channel, it's going to suggest those shorts as long as your tags, you're in it, the images are very similar, and you're cross-promoting, right? You're promoting to your shorts, and then you're promoting back to your long-form content like Mr. Beast. In fact, Lisa Wynn, she does the exact same thing. So pull up my screen neutrally. If you go to her, she's got 1.7 million subscribers on this channel. Her original channel has actually grown because of her YouTube shorts. She said not only did she see more subscribers, but she sees more views than she ever did. Now, ironically, she puts up shorts on this channel as well, but this one's supposed to be less branded based off of her and more branded on the food and the restaurant she visits. What are your thoughts when it comes to starting a second channel and YouTube being savvy enough to direct traffic both ways?
I think YouTube is absolutely smart enough to do that. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen, right? You've got the name recognition. You've got the similar audience because YouTube is looking for the right audience for your content, right? So yeah, I think they're going to make that connection. So yeah, I totally agree with that. And you mentioned before about, people getting started. Like if you are intimidated by actually sitting down, and maybe you just don't know how to edit your videos yet. And you just want to start making content. You're like, hey, I see all these people making content on YouTube and TikTok and Dubsmash and Likey and all these other platforms and Instagram Reels. And by the way, they're turning Instagram into a video platform to also compete with YouTube Shorts and TikTok. So that's really exciting. But if you're trying to figure out how to get started and you're intimidated by the software and the editing process, right now is the perfect time. Grab your phone, hit record and just make a short, make a 15-second short and just upload it. You're not going to get 1 million views on it. You might not even get 100 views on it, but the barrier to entry now, it doesn't exist. Everybody can just grab their phone, hit record, and upload to multiple platforms. And that's the cool thing about short form content, is that if you do have a short form piece of content, say it's 20 seconds long or 30 seconds long, upload that to YouTube Shorts, upload it to TikTok, upload it to Instagram Reels, upload it to Dubsmash and Likey, and Byte, right? There's a lot of short form platforms that don't get as much love as TikTok and YouTube Shorts, but there's people building huge communities over there. So don't think about only TikTok and only YouTube Shorts. Join all of the platforms and upload the same piece of content to them, because you never know where you're going to find your audience.
Totally. And this is exactly why I geek out on YouTube Shorts, because of the massive opportunity for beginners. So if you're listening to this and you're a seasoned creator, definitely worth a try. I suggest if maybe you just want to dabble in it, just start a second channel, just see where it goes. But if you're somebody new, and in fact, a lot of the people blowing up on YouTube Shorts are people that struggled for years, whether it was lack of understanding how to edit, or maybe, you know, like it was just too much for them to handle, like a 6-minute video. We can all handle 60 seconds. So if
Or less.
Or less, right? Or less. So, I mean,
a lot of videos are, you know, 15 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds.
Jake Fellman. In fact, I'll pull him up right now. So I'm going to type in Jake Fellman. He started shorts, again, just late last year. And let's pull up his channel here. Jake Fellman, look, 6.4 million subscribers. He's getting 2 million, 13 million, 8.4 million, 2.7 million views on his shorts. Now, the reason I bring him up is because his shorts, look, 32 million, they're only 16 seconds long, right? And so the reason I also want to use him as an example and give him credit is the fact that he is working really hard on these 15-second videos. He told me that sometimes he works up to 7 hours to create 15 seconds because it's 3D graphics. So don't get me wrong, there's people hustling. Even Lisa, she says she takes a whole hour. But we're going to get into some of the best practices and tips for somebody just starting out. But if you guys are getting value out of this, hit that like button. If you want to grow your YouTube channel, I want to give a shout out to my book, YouTube Secrets. Sean and I wrote this to help you guys grow your YouTube channel. So make sure you pick up a copy. Go to tubesecretsbook.com if you want to get some special bonuses. But I suggest getting the audiobook because we just updated it, and the audiobook automatically refreshes to the 2nd edition. All right, so we're near the end of the interview, Dee, and I just want to get into some best practices for somebody that's completely brand new. So say they're brand new to just like content creation. What are your first few must-do tips for them, and what are your suggestions for creating content around their niche?
The first thing I would recommend is to try to find a direction, some sort of a niche that you can consistently make content about. Maybe it's food. Maybe you just grab your phone and you're just showing some quick recipes, or maybe you're maybe you're not traveling right now, but maybe you are traveling in the future, or maybe you have a bunch of old travel videos in the past. Just try to find a direction and go in that direction. And don't overthink it when it comes to short form content right now. And I also recommend, like I mentioned earlier, create an account on TikTok, create an account on YouTube if you don't have one already. There's also Dubsmash and Likey and Byte and Instagram Reels. Create accounts on all of them. Don't overthink it, and don't think that you have to make 60 seconds, because if you're just starting out, there's a good chance that you don't know yet how to get people to finish the video, right? And YouTube is all these platforms are all about video performance. So if they see that your video is not being watched in its entirety, or even a decent amount of the video, they're not going to surface that video as much. So make a 15-second video. Originally, I don't know if they still recommend this or not, but YouTube, even though they said you can record up to 60 minutes or 60 seconds, they recommended 15 seconds for most people. And they're not saying to record 15 seconds because that's something they're going to favor. It's because that they realize that the majority of the people on the platform don't know how to get people to complete 60 seconds. So maybe try 15 seconds first. If you can get 80, 90, or 100% of the people watching 15 seconds of your short, then maybe move up to 30 seconds. And if you can get people to complete that, then move up to 60 seconds. Right? The goal is to get people to complete the video. So don't overthink it. Upload the same video to multiple platforms. and keep uploading to multiple platforms, because what we've seen is some people will upload the same video to TikTok and explode on TikTok, but they don't do well on YouTube Shorts. Or maybe they do well on YouTube Shorts and they do well on Dubsmash, but they don't do well on TikTok. So you never know where those videos are going to hit. So be experimental, have a direction, have a North Star, and head towards that North Star with your niche. Try to be consistent and don't overcomplicate things. Just grab your phone, make a video. Don't worry too much about it being too professional. I think there's something to be said about that raw, amateur, realistic vibe of just grabbing your phone and making content.
Yeah, and
People resonate with that.
Yeah, it's a good point about other platforms. This is the first time ever in 14 years I'm suggesting to people to repurpose the same piece of content to multiple platforms. YouTube, YouTube Shorts, Instagram for their Reels, and TikTok. I want to actually show you an example of what you just said actually being done. So on my Instagram, Benjamin TV, this is my food and family channel. I upload all my YouTube Shorts, and I get way more views, funny enough, on Instagram Reels. Wow. Now, I still think YouTube Shorts is way more significant. I mean, for me personally, I do have 430,000 followers, but these views are no joke for me. I think partly it's because food is universal, but for whatever reason, my content just hits better over there. Now, I will say this. I believe over time, as I upload more to my YouTube Shorts, and this is a tip for everyone, seasoned creators and newbies alike, the bigger your library gets, it just takes one video. I mean, this is a case on regular YouTube long-form content. With YouTube Shorts, it's crazy because you can do volume. In fact, the best of the best on YouTube Shorts are suggesting 3 to 5 uploads a day. And if you're serious about your YouTube channel, you can do this. You can do 3 uploads a day. That's 3 hours of work, in my opinion. But the people doing volume not only get more hooks in the sea to catch that big fish, to go viral, to have that kind of the hit video, but also you have a lot more in your library for that video that does hit to suggest. It's just nuts what the algorithm is doing. It's suggesting so many shorts of yours to your viewers or to potential viewers, and it's just sometimes putting 2 or 3 right in front of them. So completely agree. And I guess before we go into Q&A, let me know in the chat area what your questions are. Also let me know, are you using YouTube Shorts? I always love getting feedback from you guys. You guys on Clubhouse, raise your hands. Chris and Nutrily, they're paying attention. Looks like we got Nick Nim in here as well. So we're going to be having your questions asked to T directly on Clubhouse, right on Video Influencers. So we're going to get right to that. I guess my last question for you, D, is, we're not going to say this is a quick fix, even though it is quicker videos. By no means is this a shortcut, even though it is YouTube Shorts, but it's a new opportunity. The reason I bring up all that, though, is it still takes time. It takes a lot of work, and a lot of people, they get demotivated because they're not seeing the numbers. In fact, even seasoned creators who are blowing up on TikTok, they're not blowing up on YouTube Shorts yet. What are your words of wisdom? What kind of motivation do you have for people who are just starting out or maybe not gaining the traction? Why is it so important to not quit? And what should they be focused on?
Well, I'm glad you said that it's not a shortcut, because a lot of people did look at Shorts as a shortcut. I mean, you have the name YouTube Shorts, and when this first was introduced to everybody, people were seeing massive amounts of views. The people who were early on YouTube Shorts, that initial gold rush was massive. And some channels just exploded with views out of that. And people saw that. They're like, oh, I can just throw up a short video of just nothing interesting and I can go viral. It doesn't work that way. There is not a shortcut. You still have to make content that people are interested in. You still have to make videos that people want to watch a good amount of, if not complete it. I mean, if it's only 30 seconds long, you should be able to get the majority of the people to complete a 30-second video. And if you're not, you need to go back and look at why that's not happening. So I would say, just try to be consistent, upload, understand it's not a shortcut, understand there's no guarantee that people are even going to see it in the first place. But I would treat it as an additional piece of content that's separate from your channel. And I don't mean on a second channel. I mean, there's short form content, and now you have long form content. You have community feed posts, you have YouTube stories, you have all these different features within YouTube, and they're all individual pieces of content on the platform. So be patient, and just keep uploading.
For
Right
sure.
there, I can't stress enough, like you said, it's not a shortcut. Unless you get lucky. Unless you get lucky, you upload a video and it goes viral and you get 10 million views. That is somewhat of a shortcut, but the thing is, can you follow that up with another viral video? And the answer is usually no.
And, you know, TikTok, obviously, a lot of successful people who were never content creators, just blowing up. YouTube Shorts, the same thing. Long-form content isn't for everybody. YouTube Shorts isn't for everybody, but I'm seeing so many success stories from people that were struggling to do longer videos because, let's be real, it is competitive. YouTube Shorts, a lot of people uploading there, but it's so less competitive than anything else out there with a lot more upside potential. So if there's one thing I can throw at you in terms of hope, just know that right now you're uploading these YouTube Shorts, maybe not getting a lot of traction. If you're putting out quality content and you're understanding the user behavior and this new format, and you do it consistently enough, volume will play on your side more than ever, and I do believe you'll have quicker success on YouTube Shorts because, again, we can wrap our brains around 60 seconds or less a lot easier than a 6, 10, 20-minute video and recording on a DSLR, editing on a computer. You can do all of this from your phone, which brings up Dee Nimmin, right? This is why I'm interviewing him, because he specializes in mobile device content creation. So definitely go check out Dee's channel. Let's actually go pull it up right here. Dee's channel is one of my personal favorite channels, and let's pull it up here. In fact, he was one of the early people to talk about YouTube Shorts. In fact, look, I'm seeing it right here, 183,000 views, right, about YouTube Shorts, but a lot of great content on there. I suggest you guys go over there. We'll put the link down below in the description box for you guys to go subscribe. Mutually, put it back on me for a second. And again, go ahead and get YouTube Secrets. We'll have the link down below. You can get it on Amazon and Audible. And we're going to go ahead and move into the Q&A for the live viewers now.